There was a time you needed mates at the mint to buy used Mazda MX-5, but not now. Boatloads are being shipped in from the land of the rising sun. The cronky Jap economy makes their used sports cars look like barking mad bargains. And the best news of all, they're all right-hand drive.
This mass immigration of motors is known as the grey import game. Almost every second-hand Japanese car you can think of is coming to Britain, and most of them are arriving via Ireland. Spitting distance from the Dublin docks, this yard holds everything, from Nissan Micras and Toyota Starlets to Mitsubishi FTOs and Subaru WRXs. They're all Jap spec, so they've got lots of ritzy bits like air conditioning, and they might as well be Jap money. They look that cheap.
Like this 92 Toyota Celsior, or the Jap equivalent of the Lexus LS400. It's showing 50,000 miles and is 12 grand. That's 6 grand less than bottom book. How about a Nissan 300 ZX? 90G, 67,000 miles recorded, 7,500 quid, or 2 grand less than book.
Plus, more Mazda MX-5s than you could shake a torque wrench at. This is a 93, done 30,000 miles, 6,750 of your pounds, and that includes all taxes and VAT.
This year, 50,000 grey Japanese imports will find British buyers. Wide-eyed punters are flocking to auctions like this one in Dublin. All you do is stick your hand up, pay the money, which again includes VAT and all taxes, slap on some temporary Irish registration plates, drive it home, register it in the UK, and banzai.
Now, you know Uncle Quent never pays retail for anything, and he loves a bit of a bargain, but I'm duty-bound to tell you that I don't reckon this particular deal is the blinder that you think.
Firstly, none of the mileages on any of these cars is guaranteed. How do you check them out? Speak to the previous owner. How's your Japanese? If you do find a service history, you'll be lucky, and you won't be able to read it because it's in funny writing. Secondly, the Japanese crash cars like everybody else. So the only person who's going to tell us if this has been on its roof in Nagasaki is Mr. Ying Zhang Won, and he's a bit far away. But then I suppose none of this matters one jot as long as the cars are cheap enough. But are they? Let's find out.
10 grand for this 90G Toyota Celsior might seem cheap, but it's Japanese spec, which means it's a completely different car from a UK model. We're talking different engine management, suspension, brakes, gear ratios, lights, tyres, even glass. And those seats are velour, not leather. No amount of money would ever make it UK spec, and you'll never know if it's been crashed or clocked. Still sound like a bargain? Then there's this Mazda MX-5, 92, 50,000 miles, 6 grand. Sounds good, but it needs a new speedo, new tyres, different fuel filler, and because it's been sitting on a boat for 3 months, a damn good service. We've just spent £1 grand, so at 7,000 quid, we still know nothing about this Oriental orphan's past. Rather you than me.
And here's another thing. Because of the numbers of cars like this coming into Britain, very soon there could be a crash in their residual values. So when you come to sell your Japanese imports, you might find it isn't worth quite as much as you thought.
I think the future prospects of residual values for Japanese imports is bleak. The main reasons for that are quite simple. We're going to see a large increase in supply into that marketplace, and we may see a decrease in the quality as well. But there are so many unknown variables at this point in time that when we look in the future, the only way that we can see residual values going is downwards.
But, I hear you say, surely if the world, his wife and their cousins and their aunts are queuing up to buy grey imports, they can't be such a bad deal after all. Maybe Uncle Quent is being a bit too cautious this time.
I bought a 1991 Mazda MX-5 imported from Japan from an auction in Dublin. I paid £5,000 for the car, expecting it to be quite a saving. I've also got a non-imported Mazda MX-5 in the UK, which is a UK car, and my plan was to sell this car and use the Japanese one and keep a bit of cash in my pocket. A month later, the prices have plummeted, and both cars are virtually like the same price, and I'd be struggling to sell either.
It's Subaru WRX. The UK equivalent is the Impreza. I've had some bad experiences with it in respect of it was broken into, and it took me 6 weeks to get a window into the country direct from Japan. And servicing is a bit of a nightmare as well, whereby you can't actually get these things serviced by your Subaru agencies, as they're not allowed to touch them.
I had an accident with one of the alloy wheels, and when I contacted the Mazda dealer to get a replacement, I was told I'd have to wait 6 to 8 weeks. Consequently, I had to buy 4 new wheels for it, which was a bit of a shock.
Overall, the Japanese imports do look a very good bargain at the very beginning. You can see adverts saying 1,500, 2,000, even more than that, and people get very excited about it. But there are problems going to be down the line, and one of them is reselling your vehicle, and all of those savings could be wiped out at the point of resale.
Now, I apologise if all this sounds too cautious, too sensible by half, but I don't reckon the savings are that significant, plus there's a lot of hassle and a lot of risk. If you want to buy something that's not available here in the UK, like a Subaru WRX or a Mitsubishi FTO, then by all means do it. But buy it from a specialist dealer who knows what he's doing and can offer you some form of guarantee. You see, used cars are all about money. And unless you're saving shed loads on this lot, it just ain't worth doing. Sorry.